I'm actually here in the parking lot of my kids' karate dojo, my dojo too, Phoenix Karate, and I just wanted to take a quick second while I'm waiting for them to answer a question that I got from someone via email about the first customer challenge. So he emailed me and said he was having some problems because he has this online product and he wanted to sell it, and he has people going to the page and not buying it. Now, that's different, right? That's actually putting something up and going ahead to see if they'll buy it. The hard thing with that, and don't get me wrong, this is what Tim Ferriss says to do, put up a page, see if people will buy it, validate it before you create it. I agree with that to some extent. The problem is, especially when you're very, very first starting, you don't know why people aren't buying it, right? You don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's the price point. Maybe it's not the right product. Maybe it doesn't deliver something that they really want it to deliver. Maybe they don't need the product at all. You have no idea what's working for them and what's not working for them. So I highly recommend, instead of just putting something out there, right, that's passive, to tell you the truth. Most people, the reason why they put that on there is because they don't actually want to talk to people. Rule number one, you have to talk to people. And I get a lot of flack, especially even from clients, where I'm like, you need to email random people and see if they will buy your stuff. And not being creepy or anything like that. It's mostly about validating, getting feedback. So the person that emailed me, he has no idea if his customer actually wants what he's selling. Maybe they don't want it, and maybe that's the reason why it's not selling. But he doesn't know that until he starts to talk to them. So I highly recommend that, especially in this process, getting your first customer is also a validation process, right? So it's not only getting your first customer, it's validating your whole business idea. And especially if you haven't validated it before and had people say, yes, I totally want this idea, you should create it. This is where this comes in, which might be why it's taking you a little bit longer than you hoped it would for this first customer challenge. And that's okay. Just realize that you're going through a lot. You're doing your due diligence. If you're talking to people and finding out why or why not they're going to buy, that is what matters. Whether or not you get your first customer, that is huge. So I highly, highly recommend talking to people. What that means is sending out a cold email. I actually have some really cool interviews coming up. One with Jason Cohen from WP Engine, who's my hosting company, on exactly what he did in order to validate that idea and get his first customer. And it involved talking to many, many people. I had Billy Murphy back on, and he ended up telling me the same thing. He ended up talking to over 30 people to validate his idea first. And so the first customer challenge, if you haven't validated the idea yet, it's all wrapped up in that. Okay, so know that it might take you a little bit longer to get that first customer, which is totally fine. But what you're doing is you're A, validating it, and B, getting your first customer. So what I would highly recommend today is go find those prospects and actually talk to them. Don't just put up a page and hope people buy it, right? You want to ask them deep, deep questions like, do you even want this? Is this something that would work in your life? And then ask deeper questions more than that. Because if they're like, well, you never know what they're going to say depending on the product, but well, maybe I'd use it if it was really, really cheap. Well, that tells you so much information. Maybe it'll cost $10,000 to make, and they're only willing to pay $5 a month. You'd have to have a huge volume in order to make that work. So whatever it is, you're going to get feedback back, and you're going to learn so much more than you could ever imagine by just sort of putting up a page and not having anyone give you feedback. So that's what I recommend. This week, try to talk to at least 5 people that you don't even know, because some of the people that you know will be like, yeah, that's a good idea, you should do that. And then when it comes to actually getting money from them, they're like, well, I'm not really, that's not what you want. Talk to people that are real prospects, that are your direct target market, your direct avatar, and ask them for feedback. Not even for the sale. Ask them how much they would pay, but you don't even have to say that, will you buy it? You can say that going in. Say something like, you know what? I'm not even going to try and sell you. I just want your feedback. Because if you haven't validated the idea yet, you don't know if what you're selling is going to get you your first customer. So I really wanted to sort of put that out there in case you were struggling this month. Validating your idea is huge and really does come first before this first customer piece. And if you haven't done that yet, we have to sort of intertwine it and just know it might take a little bit longer. I hope that helps you. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. Take care.